When we have a series of holes arranged in a circle around a center, we call that a bolt circle. Often it's for bolting things together. It could be something else. There could be, I don't know, dowel pins or something else, but we still call this a bolt circle. And when you draw a bolt circle, you draw a circular center line. This line that goes through the middle of these holes is a continuous center line. So you'll get the center line layer and you'll draw a circle. Then you'll draw a short center line. You'll draw a short center line through each of these holes, and that short center line points towards the center of the bolt circle. Where there are holes that sit on the 0-degree line or the 90-degree line, you don't need a short center line because you've got the one long center line going through. But for the others, which are not sitting at 0 or 90, you want a short center line and it points towards the center. Here's ASME showing us how we can dimension the angles on these things. Again, we connect the holes with a continuous center line circle, and the short center lines always point towards the center. Now for dimensioning the angles, ASME says it's just fine to dimension the angle off of the 90-degree center line and off of the 0-degree center line and off of the 90-degree center line. So they've shown that here at the bottom. There's an angle dimension coming off of the 90-degree line. Here are 3 different angle dimensions coming off of the 0-degree line. Totally fine. If you have some holes that are equally spaced, like this, these holes are all 45 degrees apart, then you just write however many there are, 8 times 45 degrees. This is an example out of our book. This is from a crane manufacturer. Here's one thing I want to stress for you. And I believe this is the part that we are drawing for our drawing assignment today. What you must do is have a continuous centerline circle that goes through all of these small holes, and then each small hole that's not on 0 or 90 must have a short center line that points towards the center of the bolt circle. So there's one, there's one, there's one, there are 2. Short center line pointing toward the center. Here's what not to do. Do not put a little center mark in there. This is bad. Don't do that. This would happen if you had center mark turned on in your dimension style, so it automatically put these in here, or you click the center mark button. Bad. Because if you zoom in on this hole, you'll notice suddenly, with this bad way, we have 3 center lines there. We have the center line caused by the big bolt circle, and then a little horizontal and vertical plus sign thingy. That's just not good, so don't do that. Here's another thing not to do. Do not run big old long center lines all the way through your circle. They don't help, and they just make a mess. They just fill up the middle, and it just makes the thing hard to read. Look how much cleaner this one over here is. You can really see what's going on with those holes. Now, last point to make before we look at our drawing. There's a convention that we use when we have an odd number of features, such as an odd number of holes. Here is a plate which has 3 countersunk holes, 120 degrees apart, arranged around a bolt circle. If you were to project construction lines from the front view over into the side view, here is what the side view would wind up looking like. And as you can see by my label, that is not correct. So yes, this is literally true if you projected lines over from the front view. And it's not correct because, can you see how this is just confusing? What is your machinist supposed to think here? You got a hole on top of another hole or what? What you're trying to tell them is these three holes are all equally distant from the center of the bolt circle. They're all equally spaced a radial distance away from the center. And the way you express that is by using this convention. You draw the side view, which you see here, as if there were only two holes and they were 180 degrees apart. This is not the front view you draw, but this is what you use to lay out your side view. So now your machinist, looking at the side view, can say, ha, I get it. There's a big counterbore hole in the middle, and then there are some countersunk holes that are equally spaced away from the center. And you show them how many by correctly drawing the front view. So here is what your finished drawing would look like. Correct front view with the three countersunk holes equally spaced around the circle, and a side view drawn as if those smaller holes were 180 degrees apart. This is the correct way to draw this part. Few more examples. Look at the plate with a bunch of holes up in the top of this slide. I don't know how many there are a lot of them. Here in the middle drawing is what that side view would look like if you projected construction lines over from all of the holes in the front view. These are all the hidden lines you would wind up with. Look at that. That's just a mess. That is not communicating anything to anyone. No, thank you. So what you should do as a professional drafter is draw the side view as if there were only two small holes 180 degrees apart. You project lines over from the very bottom hole, you project lines over from the very top hole, and in the side view we see that those holes are equally spaced away from the center line. You will apply that conventional idea in this drawing that you're going to do. So this is the drawing of a part with a bolt circle. Can I back up just a minute? I'm sorry, this might be several slides back. Here is the part as it will appear in the front view. So these holes are on a bolt circle. There's your bolt circle. And each one has a short line pointing towards the center. They are different angles apart, though. And this isometric view tells us what those angles are. You will need a front view, like the one we just looked at, and a side view simply for dimensioning the thickness of the thing. See how this thing is 3/4 of an inch thick. You can kind of copy this isometric view, although yours will be a flat front view of a nice looking orthographic view, but you can locate your angle dimensions just as he has done. That would be totally fine. These are good. And you can dimension the diameter of the bolt circle like he has done. You can call out the diameter of the 7 small holes like he has done. And you can dimension the 2 diameters, the 3-inch inner hole and the 5 3/8 outer diameter. Those would all be totally fine. You'll have a long center line running through, running through at 0 and 90, and you'll have short center lines running through the small holes. So that's basically what your part will look like.